We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Perspectives Corner. I am your host, Rhona Bennett. Very happy to have you back in the spot and me. So tonight is just you and I. We're going to talk about facing fears and learning to let go and the art of ambition and how that helps us to realize the things that we desire, the things that we want for ourselves. How does that get us to success, not only in just business, but health and love and any area? Any of these principles can be applied to any area of your life. Of late, I've been focusing like crazy on making some moves for myself. And it has been quite the journey. Even now, I'm like, woo, I got to come in here and do Perspectives Corner, baby. And I've been pushing like crazy. That's pretty much what it's like. Sometimes you just got to know that you're about to put it in. And it's a relentless push. It's not something that you do just for the time being. It's something that you do until you see the results, until something actualizes itself in your reality, until the manifestation of the desire or dream or vision that you have for yourselves comes into fruition. You can hold it. You can taste it. It's here. You've put in the work. You've taken the time out to learn what you need to learn, to fine tune your skills so that you can give yourself the best opportunity to live the life that you want to live. So tonight, we're going to talk about those things, and we're going to allow a few other successful people to bless us with their knowledge and information. Just to put you up on game, I'm getting ready to go out for a speaking tour with Tahuti Ma'atra. Twice a month, we will be hitting all over the United States. How about that? This was a vision I had for myself, not necessarily with Tahuti, but I can remember back in 2010 when I was like looking at a drought, if you will. I hadn't been planting seeds like I normally did. I didn't water those seeds. And when I say seeds, I'm saying visions, dreams, things that I want for myself, moving towards my purpose. I was kind of complacent. I was chilling. And then next thing you know, I look up and I'm looking at dry land. And I hadn't been watering it with my vision, my focus, my attention. And I had to turn some things around. And it took for me to come across some life-changing information, or I want to say almost, it was like it gave me a shot of inspiration. It gave me a shot of motivation. It reminded me of who I was and where I was going and what I was intending to do. And this journey just has kept expanding itself. And I can remember years ago saying, I think I want to be a life coach. But this was at a time when I was acting and singing, and, it just wasn't necessarily pulling me like it did in 2010 when I was looking at other ways for me to find fulfillment in my life, because I thought I was looking at more of a closed door, when it came to entertainment and what I wanted to do and where I was going and how I wanted to approach it. So many changes. It was scary. It was all kinds of stuff, but I had to take the bull by the horns, as they say, the proverbial bull by the horns, and I had to tell it where to go. And that started with me. You know what I mean? That started with my dedication, my willingness to be disciplined enough to get the information in my system and to apply myself to see deliberate creation. When I was younger, as a kid, I did this naturally. I didn't even know I was exercising the key principles to success and seeing manifestation of things that you wanted for yourself in your life. I didn't even know I was doing that. I just knew that I had a passion and a love for something, and I went after it. And thank God I was so young that I hadn't been tainted by the world enough yet to tell me that I couldn't do it, to tell me that I couldn't believe in myself enough to have it. I was a skinny girl with big eyes and big dreams. And I didn't think for one second that I couldn't have it, because nothing was telling me I couldn't. I just saw something. It was in me already, and I just pursued it. And then later, as an adult, and you get all these other ideas in your mind and head, and you've been conditioned by your environment and the people in it and the circumstances in it and the television in it and whatever else that we have out there influencing us every day, and you start to doubt yourself. You start to allow thoughts to come in that don't empower you. You start to allow yourself to give attention to things that don't necessarily move you in the direction of where you thought you wanted to go. And then you have to be deliberate about how you take your power back. You have to be deliberate in planting another seed and watering it with your attention and your focus and your dedication and your diligence to get it done. And now I'm starting to see these seeds that I planted take root. And it's really, really cool. You know, I don't know where it's going, but I feel like it's magic. You feel me? So thank you for tuning in tonight. I'm going to be sharing with you some principles that I feel like I've come across and that have helped me, and I hope that they help you. If you take away one jewel from this show, then we know that it was successful. We're going to start this evening with somebody that most of us know, came from what some people might call the bottom. But he came from a very rough and tough space and place, and the streets taught him a lot about how to survive and thrive. Yet there was something else in him that really pushed him. And I was watching videos of him on YouTube the other night, and I was like, wow, that's interesting where his mindset was. No matter whether you understood his background, he had a very relentless vision and strength about what he thought about himself and where he was going and what he could do and what he was capable of. And now he's this business mogul making millions. How does that happen? There are some consistencies, whether it's Bill Gates to Jay-Z to Warren Buffett. There are some consistent principles and keys to manifesting the things you want for yourself. The only question I think is it in you to do it? Are you willing to be persistent? Are you willing to be consistent? And if you fall off the horse, if you will, are you willing to get back on? We're going to start this show off with 50 Cent. A little jewel from him, like 3 minutes and 16 seconds. It's like a little chunk of something. But I thought it was a powerful chunk of something. It's talking about fear. Let's take a listen.
So we met a couple years ago. Surprisingly or not, we got along. We had like an interesting rapport. And so we decided to do a book together.
All right.
And what I do when I write a book, whether it's about power, seduction, or war, I take the most powerful people in their field and I kind of break them down. I figure out what is the essence of them, what's the core of their success. I call it their power center of.
Okay, I'm not sure what happened. We're having some, internet difficulty here in the studio, but we're going to see if we can pull the video back up. It's a little jewel from 50 Cent talking about fear. And she was cooperating with me a few minutes ago, and now she wants to give me some drama. I don't even know why. Okay, I see what it is. I think that we lost some connection here. Let's see if we can get it back up and running. Okay, so what we're going to do is, I like to start the show with some music to put us in the feeling space and the right direction of the message that we want to send tonight. So, Richard, what you got on deck that can inspire us for this evening? We're going to let him pull that up, and I'm going to see if I can get this video back up for you. You've been listening to Perspectives Corner with Rhona Bennett. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to Perspectives Corner with Rhona Bennett. We're going to see if we can get this video to act right tonight. I'm going to try this again. We're going to be listening to 50 Cent, Fear Nothing.
So we met a couple years ago. Surprisingly or not, we got along. We had like an interesting rapport. And so we decided to do a book together.
Right.
And what I do when I write a book, whether it's about power, seduction, or war, I take the most powerful people in their field and I kind of break them down. I figure out what is the essence of them, what's the core of their success. I call it their power center of gravity. Right. So I decided I would do that with you. Mm-hmm. And so after a couple of months of following you around, I decided that the secret to your success, your power center of gravity, is your fearlessness. Mm-hmm. So in any kind of situation where you're interacting with people, you're the one that has less fear than they do. And that gives you like a constant strategic advantage. You're able to adapt to the situation, to take risks when other people are afraid of it. And this is, to me, the source of your power. And so this is the subject of our book, The 50th Law, the power that anybody can have in life if they assume this fearless approach. So I was wondering, were you just sort of born this way? Did you come out of the womb not crying, kind of fearless? Or did you have to develop this attitude when you were on the streets as a kid without a mother or father there? Did you have to learn how to be like that?
It's absolutely something that I developed over time, because like I think I have the same emotions everyone else does. I just have a way to suppress those feelings in different circumstances and situations. I can kind of adjust.
Can you remember a moment when you were afraid when you were a kid on the streets, or you were hustling or anything?
A lot of moments when I'm afraid. I think it's necessary for you to have fear to be conscious of people.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean by that?
A slight bit of actual fear is necessary for you to be aware, like a paranoia. There's like after it heightens your awareness.
Right.
So a lot of times when people when I interact with people in different spaces, it's so less intense than what I've had the experience prior to music, that it puts me in a space where it's really a relaxed space. So it is true, a lot of times I interact with people and they have a stronger fear factor involved in our interaction than I have, because I've been in way worse situations, to me, more dramatic spaces. So I just look at each one of the situations and kind of analyze it, or I'll use a parallel to something I've experienced in my past to make sense of the actual situation. So a lot of the decisions are kind of like gut feelings. Like the music business and entertainment in general, there's no school for it.
Right.
So you got to kind of instinctively make the right decisions and be spontaneous and not be afraid to actually be yourself in different ways. Like I've interacted with artists that have great talents in different spaces. They're amazing. They can do things that I can't actually do, but they can't beat me at being me.
Wow. They can't beat me at being me. I felt like that was one of the most powerful things that he said in that interview. Nobody can beat you at being you. Like, how powerful is that? When you realize that that is your truth, you're no longer concerned about what other people are doing or, if they can infringe upon what your abilities are. You're just more concerned with, how can I be a better me? How can I take whatever I've been blessed to have, whatever talents, abilities, and skills I have the privilege of being able to hone and, develop? How can I take those things to the next level? That's just the story of you. That's just a walk with you. That's, if anything, you compete with yourself. And so that was a really powerful thing that he said, I thought. And he also seemed to say he uses fear. You don't have to necessarily run from it. Use it. Use it as a tool to make you more aware in life. Use it as a tool to make you more aware of maybe the things that are going on within you. I was listening to Marianne Williamson. I don't know how many of you are familiar with her, but she's pretty big in the spiritual world, as far as writing her really, really famous book or renowned book, A Return to Love. Check that out. It's a really powerful book. But she was talking about facing our shadow sides, facing the fear, being willing to look at it so that you can see who you really are and where you may want to make some changes, where you may want to make some tweaks so that you can be more authentic in the next step you take. Don't be afraid to look at it. I feel like a lot of us are running, we're dodging. It's natural. You don't want to be uncomfortable, But I also noticed that one of the consistent things that makes people successful is their willingness to be uncomfortable. For example, if you're operating at, let's just say, a 6 in life, right? But you want to know what it's like to live at a 7, you got to step up and face the fears at a 7. You can't expect to stay comfortable and then go to the level of living at a 7. You got to keep taking the next bold step. You got to be willing to kind of, look at some things maybe that you're afraid to look at, but it can be the most liberating and freeing thing you can do. This is how we take our power back. Being willing to look at our fears, being willing to make those tweaks, and being willing to be disciplined enough to keep taking that step. You feel me? So that was 50 Cent and Fear. I guess he has a book out called The 50th Law or something. Are you familiar with that, Richard, at all? No, he says no. But I guess he has a book out, and I just think his story is pretty fascinating because he definitely came from a space of, looking at some things that most people might say you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to. You said what? 9 bullets. He took 9 bullets. He lived in the streets. He had to deal with a rougher, tougher, more tough existence than most. And for him to be at the place of success in his life is pretty remarkable. It's pretty remarkable. How did he get there? Study the people that you're fascinated with. Study the people that maybe you're not even fascinated with, because you'll start to find some common threads. Even though they may get there a different way, there are some key elements that most people are exercising, whether knowingly or unknowingly, to get to the next level of their existence, to get to those places that they want to experience. So definitely study. Okay, let's see. Who else did I want to pull on board tonight? Oh, okay. So I don't know. Some people love Oprah, some people don't. But I somehow stumbled across this video talking about one of my favorite movies, The Color Purple, which Oprah was in. And I had never heard her story connected to how that role of Sophia came into her life. But even beyond that, what that experience taught her, a major life lesson that she has never forgotten. It was really powerful to listen to. She's a great storyteller. And I thought that it would be some good inspirational soul food for this evening. So let's tap into Miss Oprah Winfrey tonight. It's somebody uploaded it and said the success secrets of Oprah Winfrey revealed. This was part 2 of that. Man, get out there and get some of this good information online. It is all out there. We live in the information age. If you're looking to take your living to the next level, it is here for the taking. You just got to be willing and dedicated to go out there and get it.
I remember thinking I wanted to be an actress, and my father saying, "No daughter of mine is going to be laying on some casting couch." And my father, for years, I felt such shame about having brought shame to him by having a child out of wedlock that died shortly afterwards, but still the shame of it was there. So when my father said, "No daughter of mine is going to be an actress," I just thought, okay, I won't be one. People doubt that your thoughts create reality for you.
Okay. Dang it. It did it to us. So what did I do last time? Did I refresh it? Okay. And I guess it needs to buffer. We're having what is this, connection issues with the internet tonight? What is the deal, buddy? Huh? Yeah, I guess we're going to have to go to break and see if we can get this thing to buffer. But as you can see what she's talking about, look at all of the negative and conflicting thoughts that she was dealing with before she could even allow herself to believe that she could be an actress. And although we know Oprah as this philanthropist and this amazing talk show host. She's a really, really talented actress, and she's dealt with a lot of turmoil in her early years of coming up. What does it take as an individual to move past that kind of mental warfare even? These are blocks coming in, negative, conflicting statements that could send anybody to sit down. How did she overcome that? When we come back off the break, I hope to have this video up and running so that you can hear this powerful story and the lesson that she learned. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm still having some difficulty getting my video up, so I'm not sure what I need to do in order to make it work for us tonight. I'm going to try it one more time and click here because all this good information I want you to have. Okay, let me see if it'll move at all. Amazing. No love in the club. It looks like I have full bars. At any rate, so we'll be going on the road this, I'm going to be posting most of my dates at rhonabennett.com very, very soon. I'll be in Chicago. We'll be hitting up Dallas. We'll be hitting up, Memphis and San Diego, Los Angeles, all over the place. Chicago, my hometown, baby. I'm looking forward to moving around a lot. So we'll see. I don't see this video buffering at all for me at this point. LA Talk Live is not showing me no love tonight. And that is so sad for my folks right now. I don't know if we should try again because I don't even know if I want to let it cut off on people. Huh? Okay, we're going to try one more. We're going to play one more song, and we're going to see if I need to just let this puppy play. And if we can't get it out, we're just stuck. We're going to have to trust that this is exactly what it needs to be. Okay, you've been listening to Perspectives Corner with Rhona Bennett. I'm still working for you, baby. We'll be right back.
Yeah, people hate to hear bad news, and good news too. Usually when it's not for them, it's about you. Ain't that messed up? Boy, this road's a trip. Either they keeping you down or they pulling you down. Clip your wings so you can tail spin and hit the ground. We all here together on this spinning rock, trying to make some sense of this life we got. And I ain't met a man yet that got all the answers. And I ain't been nowhere yet where they not fighting cancer. I seen a good prison system that gives second chances. What's the hate for? What's the war for? Well, ask Wall Street. It's probably why they stocks soar. I'm just a dreamer, you know, John Lennon. But what do I know? My head stays spinning. A world full of hunger where people can't make it. They say we ain't got it. Man versus who can waste it.
I'm moving and I won't look back, no. I'ma get what's for me and get where I need to be. Won't let nothing get me off track, no. Yeah, it's a part of my story. No struggle, no glory.
The day I was born with two arms where they try to fit in. I refuse to conform. Yes, life, but there's more. Let me show you this story. I struggled so far to cover up these scars. The devil is so real. I feel him at work. Feel him breathing. It's burning my shirt. Both at one time to give and to curse. But no, it's just way back to go on my mom's purse. Lessons I've learned. The heads that I've turned. It's not their concern. Watch as they burn. I rise to the top. None of us
Okay,
can
welcome back to
stop me.
Perspectives
Oh, no.
Corner. We're going to try this thing again. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does, yay! Okay, here we go. The Success Secrets of Oprah Winfrey Revealed, Part 2, baby. Really, really cool, inspirational story. Check it out.
I remember thinking I wanted to be an actress, and my father saying, no daughter of mine is going to be laying on some casting couch. And my father, for years, I felt such shame about having brought shame to him by having a child out of wedlock that died shortly afterwards, but still the shame of it was there. So when my father said, no daughter of mine is going to be an actress, I just thought, okay, I won't be one. People doubt that your thoughts create reality for you. It doesn't. If you're just sitting around thinking, I want something, it doesn't. But there's no question if the energy and the vibrational frequency is correct, is in sync with what is to come your way, that there is a space that you create that allows that to happen. And nothing more than the color purple explains that to me. That's what made a believer out of me. I read a review in the New York Times about the color purple on a Sunday morning. I got out of bed with my pajamas on, put the coat on over my pajamas, went to the bookstore to get the book after reading the review. I started reading it in the bookstore. Dear God, I'm 14 years old. Please tell me what's happening to me. That is my story. Oh my God. Somebody else has this story? I go home. I finish the book that day. Before the bookstore closes, I'm back in the bookstore getting every book that they had, which I think was like 8 at the time. I buy all of those books. I hand them out to everybody I know at work. And I become obsessed, literally obsessed with the color purple. And I would walk across the Wacker Street Bridge just so I could run into people who had not read the color purple. I didn't have a book club, so any way I can get you to read it is fine. And I would pass out these books. If somebody said, no, I hadn't heard of it, well, I happen to have one right here. And I heard that they were going to be doing a movie about the color purple. They was Steven Spielberg and Quincy Jones. And as it turns out, I start telling everybody, I'm going to be in that movie. I'm going to figure out a way to be in that movie. I get a call from a casting agent saying, we're casting for a movie called Moonsong. They called it Moonsong at the time. You're casting for a movie called Moonsong? You're sure it's not The Color Purple? Because I've been praying for The Color Purple. He goes, no, it's Moonsong. So I go to this audition on a day in Chicago where it was 72 below zero. So cold they had ropes out to keep people falling down. I had a cold, a sore throat, swollen, and had a wrap in my head. And it was so cold that when you walked outside, your eyelids froze. When I walked in there, I thought, oh my goodness, it is The Color Purple, because I know every character. I've read the book. I read for The Color Purple, and not only am I reading, I'm reading like for a major role. They want me to read for Sophia. She's married to Harpo, and Harpo is my name, spelled backwards. So I think if that is not a sign from Jesus himself, I never saw a sign bigger than that. So I audition, I hear nothing. I ended up months later calling the casting agent saying, I haven't heard anything. He said, you don't call me. What are you calling me for? I call you. And we have real actresses who are auditioning for this part. Alfred Woodard just left my office, he said. She's a real actress. You have no experience. So I hung up the phone, and I knew I'm not going to get the part. So I feel really terrible. I can't even believe this. I think this is a God trick. I think, well, God, what'd you do that for? Why did you take me to the audition, and I'm auditioning, and then it's a Harpo character, and then I'm not going to get it? So I think it's because I'm fat. So I go to this fat farm, and as I am running around the track by myself on a cold, rainy Wisconsin day, I start praying to God out loud, and I say, I don't get it. I really don't get it, God, but I know you do. I don't know if this is some kind of joke or what you're doing with me, but I thought you wanted me to have this part. And I want to be in the space where I can thank you for the opportunity, but I can't now. I can't. It's too hard. Please help me let it go. Help me to let it go. And I start singing, I surrender all. I surrender all to thee, my blessed Savior. I surrender all. Now, that song just spontaneously came to me. But when you first start to sing it, you really can't surrender. You're just saying, okay, I'm going to sing the song. I sang and I prayed and I sang and I prayed and I sang and I prayed and I cried until I could feel myself let it go and know you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. And at first I thought, you're going to be all right, but you won't be able to ever see the movie. You can't see the movie, but you'll be all right. And then I kept praying. I want to pray till I feel like I can actually go see the movie. And I will be able to bless Alfred Woodard in the role. That I'll be able to say, it's a good thing you got it. I want to be able to do that. And in the moment I can say, I can now see Alfred Woodard. I can see that can happen. And I will be okay. My life will go on, and I will not be bitter, and I will not be angry, and I will not hold that, and I will not feel for the rest of my life, she got it and I didn't. I want to have that kind of peace. And in the moment that happened to me, somebody comes running out to the track and says, there's a phone call for you. And there was Steven Spielberg calling to tell me that I hear you at a fat farm. And he said, if you lose a pound, you could lose this part. And I ended up stopping at Dairy Queen to make sure I hadn't lost a pound. And the next day I was in his office at Amblin. in Universal Studios and got the part. I would have to say one of the fundamental turning points in my life was The Color Purple. Nothing has had a greater impact on me, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, in determining my path. Because it literally changed my faith in that I could see it. It was real. It was real. All my life I had to fight. I had to fight my daddy. I had to fight my uncles. I had to fight my brothers. Girl, child ain't safe in the family names. But I ain't never thought I had to fight in my own house. I love Harpo. God knows I do. But I kill him dead before I let him bleed. This life be over soon. Heaven lasts always. Girl, you ought to bash Mr. Head open and think about heaven later. God can dream a bigger dream for me, for you, than you could ever dream for yourself. When you've worked as hard and done as much and strived and tried and given and pled and bargained and hoped, surrender. When you have done all that you can do and there's nothing left for you to do, give it up. Give it up to that thing that is greater than yourself and let it then become a part of the flow. And I have never wanted anything as badly, as hard, as much as The Color Purple. And the wanting of it and then the surrendering of it is what taught me how to live in a space of letting go. You can dream this much, but God has a bigger dream. That The Color Purple is then setting you up for the national Oprah Winfrey Show. I didn't know that at the time. So when I ask, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do this? The bigger question is, what would you, God, the universe, have me do?
The powerful, great manifestor, Oprah Winfrey. You want to talk about somebody living on the cutting edge of creativity and truly allowing herself to dream big and think even bigger. I feel like she's saying, give a vision, make a deposit, but also be willing for that deposit to be expanded upon. And sometimes, in facing our fears, we have to be willing to stretch. A lot of the times we have to be willing to stretch. For example, I've been an entertainer all my life. But when I hit a time where I hadn't been watering my seeds, I hadn't even been planting them, and I started to experience a drought, I had to find out, what else do I feel can bring me fulfillment in this world? What are some of the ways that I can stretch in who I can be and still feel like I'm making a meaningful deposit on this planet? And I remember years ago, I was like, you know what? I want to be a life coach. It was always in me, but I didn't know exactly how I would come across that. And at the time I was working and, wasn't really being pushed. It wasn't until I was down on my luck, if you will, wondering what direction I was going in, facing fear. Did I teach myself? I thought I was going to have to go to an institution and get a certification and la, la, la. I certified myself through my own life experience and through my willingness and diligence to sit down and get the information in me. Because we can be given the talent, but if you don't have the drive, the ambition, and you don't strengthen the skills to use that talent, it can go unnoticed. You can, be one of the rest of them and be just stupid talented and didn't do the work. You know what I mean? Or didn't choose to stretch yourself beyond what you thought you could do. So keep taking that bold step. Keep making a deposit in your vision, your thoughts. Where are you going? Do you know what you really want? Do you even have an inkling of what you want? Are you afraid to think bigger than where you currently are because you just don't know how you can get to it? What we're saying is abandon that reasoning. Abandon the logic of thinking you need to know how to get there. Just desire it. Just allow yourself the room to think big. What would it look like? What would it feel like? What would it taste like? How would you feel? Allow yourself to go there, because a lot of times we'll stop ourselves because we don't know the how, and then you don't even allow yourself to think outside of your box. Let it go. Dream big, think big, so that even if you do fall a little lower than what your biggest thought was, you're still where you want to be. You're still comfortable with what you've allowed yourself to create. So that was a powerful nugget from Miss Oprah Winfrey. I mean, come on, study the champions. That's where the goods are. It's 9:42. I was going to let us, and I still am going to let us get a couple jewels from Mr. Jim Rohn. He was going to be about 24 minutes long. We'll see I'll see where it is. It's a long nugget of love that he put in there, but I pulled 24 minutes for you. So I'm going to let you marinate with Miss Erykah Badu. I'm going to pull up Jim Rohn's video, and then when we come back, we're going to listen to The Power of Ambition. Oh, this is my boy, Morris Allen. Shout out to Morris Allen. What up? Love his music.
Still a glimmer of hope now, just for me. Coming up to me. But I know you exist. So I'm packing my bags, and there's no looking back now. And I won't stop until I reach you. I still believe that I will find you. Yeah. I still believe you out there. I won't stop until I find you. You could be anywhere, so until we're together, I still believe. Now it took a while to get here, 'cause who I thought was the one was just pretending to the throne. An overwhelming fear of the mistakes from before caused me to think that I would never, ever love again. Hurrying up to me, yes, but I know you exist. So I'm packing my bags, and there's no looking back, no. And I won't stop until I reach you. I still believe that I will find you. I still believe that I'll be somewhere. I won't stop until I find you. You could be anywhere, so until we're together, I still believe. I still believe that I will find you. I'll find you, baby. I still believe you're out there.
Can't stop,
You
won't stop,
could
can't stop.
be anywhere, so until we're together, I still believe.
I walk 1,000 miles and shed 1,000 tears to give you 1,000 smiles. I fight 1,000 rounds. First I got your mad, quickly became an addict. Love don't come with a manual, it's automatic. You found it in Halle Berry, compare you to Paula Patton. Miss Galaxy shutting down all the pageants. So fly got me buying boarding passes. First class, now it's time for you to graduate. You work the world, it's easy for me to calculate. You make my blood rush, make my heart palpitate. Destiny is love, love is my destiny. No flash in the pan, baby, you the perfect recipe.
You could be anywhere, so until we're together, I still believe. I will find you, baby. I still believe you're out there. You could be anywhere, so until we're together, I still believe. Wake up!
Hey, Shock Kim. Of course, Shock is on the board. He gonna bring himself up. I love this song though. I love it. Powerful. So we just got through listening to a very powerful manifestor on planet Earth, Miss Oprah Winfrey, billionaire. And not just monetarily. She's a very prosperous woman. She's living, I'm sure she's got her issues. She'll tell you she has her issues. She's got her stuff she's still working through. We're human beings. We're human becomings. We're, always working through some stuff, and there's always more. But she is living a very fulfilling life. And that's because she was willing to take those bold steps that most people aren't willing to take. They're afraid to take. We're talking about facing our fears. In order for us to really experience something outside of the box we're currently in, you're going to have to face some fears. I don't think there's really any way around that, to be honest with you. My experience hasn't taught me that yet. And the more that I study more of the champions that are making things happen in this world, that we marvel at, that we find remarkable, that we find fascinating, they had to face fears. They had to go through some trials and tribulations, if you will, and they had to move through some mental warfare even. When I say mental warfare, I mean being in the matrix, living in the common, living in the mediocre. And how do you break out of that box? How do you allow yourself to sustain a certain way of thinking, a certain way of being, a certain way of doing things? We're creatures of habit. A certain way of doing things so that you get on a routine that puts you in a position to win. How do you do that? Study the champions. Okay, so Shakim, thank you for holding the board down for your girl. If anybody just tuned in, you're listening to Perspectives Corner with Rhona Bennett. Tonight we're talking about facing our fears, learning to let go, and the power of ambition. All of these things are key elements to living a life of success. What does success mean to you? Success means different things to different people. And what it means for me could be completely different for someone else. So there's no right or wrong way to be successful. But are you happy? Are you able to pat yourself on the back? Listen to Jim Rohn talk about these things. I thought he said some really powerful stuff. And I hope that it motivates you and pushes you into the next level of who you can be. Check it out.
Ambition is a powerful force. The power of ambition turns hopeful wishes into reality. It leads you on the right course to the good life. Legitimate ambition says, I only want something at the service of others, not at the expense of others. If it is your ambition to be great, you must first find a way to do so by serving others. If it is your ambition to be wealthy, you must first learn how to give. If it is your ambition to be healthy, you must first learn to stop doing the things that can make you and others sick. This is Jim Rohn. You're about to hear why ambition is at the core of every success. I encourage you to listen well and take notes on the information that is relevant to you. But remember, this is only the beginning. The insights you will learn from this program are seeds that have the capacity to lead to extraordinary achievement. My hope is that you will cultivate these ideas with your own imagination and creativity. Water them with your faith. Intensify them with your activity so that they will grow and bear fruit. I'm always intrigued with the challenge of trying to put into words the ideas that can make a difference in a person's life. And now I have the pleasure of sharing these ideas with you.
For more than 30 years, Jim Rohn has focused on the fundamentals of human behavior that lead to exceptional personal and business performance. And he has established an unparalleled reputation as a dynamic and memorable speaker. The power behind his message is not just in what you learn by listening, but in what you feel. For that reason, he is uniquely qualified to present The Power of Ambition. In this program, Jim will guide you to the true source of ambition, the one that resides within yourself. His inspirational approach will help you develop your inner motivation and drive, and you'll discover the insights and strategies that can bring you to the highest levels of achievement. So let's rejoin Jim now and learn how you can harness the power of your own personal ambition.
To a lot of people, ambition is kind of a mystery. The dictionary says it's an eager desire for distinction, power, or fame. But what does that really mean? Well, let's start with the word eager. All by itself, eager is kind of exciting. Kids are eager for their birthday parties. They expect to be the center of attention, get lots of presents, eat too much. I guess grown-ups are eager for birthdays too. Unless, of course, they're embarrassed that the number of candles on the cake outnumber their achievements. But we can be eager to see a ball game, eager to see our kids in a dance recital, eager to see an old friend, eager to shop for a new car. Eager sounds like a lot of fun. But do you ever hear people say they are eager to live a better life, eager to have a better family, eager to make a lot of money? Probably not. And that's a problem. Because how I see it, living a better life, having a better family, and making a lot of money takes an eager desire. We have the remarkable ability to get exactly what we must have. But there is a difference between wishes and desires. We've all heard people say, "Oh, I wish I could just drop 5 pounds. I want to be a little lighter." And we've probably said it ourselves, especially after a big holiday dinner of turkey and homemade pie and every other thing we can possibly stuff ourselves with in one 8-hour period of time. And even though we may wish we could breathe a little easier in our clothing, we have to have the desire to exercise a little more and eat a little less. The "I wish I could lose weight" has to become, "I have the eager desire to lose weight." I'm also sure you've heard people talk about wishing they had more money to pay the bills, or take a vacation, or just to take a little pressure off of life. But before their lifestyle can change, their wish needs to become a desire. If they really desired change, they wouldn't spend their evenings just watching TV and wishing they were doing something more. The backbone of an eager desire to change is discipline. True ambition is disciplined, eager desire. It's that little part within us that says, if I want to be ready for that meeting tomorrow, I need to finish preparing for it today. If I want to make sure I can pay for my kids' college education, I need to start saving today. If I want a better life tomorrow, I need to start working on it today. Ambition is a minute-by-minute, day-by-day mentality. To have the ambition to work towards a better family life, a newer car, a bigger house, a financially secure future, you have to live it every moment. If living a successful life was easy, I'm sure more people would be successful. If just being ambitious was enough, I'm sure all of the broke and perplexed people in the world wouldn't be broke and perplexed. While most people spend most of their lives struggling to earn a living, a much smaller number seem to have everything going their way. Instead of just earning a living, the smaller group is busily working at building and enjoying a fortune. Everything just seems to work out for them. And here sits the much larger group, wondering in awe on how life can be so unfair, complicated, and unjust. So what's the major difference between the little group with so much and the larger group with so little? Despite all the factors that affect our lives, like the kind of parents we have, the schools we attended, the part of the country we grew up in, none has as much potential power for doing good as the ability to dream. Dreams are a projection of the kind of life we want to lead. Dreams can drive you. Dreams can make you skip over obstacles. When we allow our dreams to pull us, they unleash a creative force that can overpower everything in our way. To unleash this power, though, your dreams must be well defined. A fuzzy future has little pull power. Well-defined dreams are not fuzzy. Wishes are fuzzy. To really achieve your dreams, to really have your future plans pull you, your dreams must be vivid. If you've ever hiked a 14,000-foot peak in the Rocky Mountains, one thought has surely come to mind. How did the settlers of this country do it? How did they get from the East Coast to the West Coast? By foot. Carrying one day's supply of food and water is hard enough. Can you imagine hauling all of your worldly goods with you? Mile after mile, day after day, month after month? These people had dreams, big ones. They had ambition. They didn't focus on the hardship of getting up the mountain. In their minds, they were already on the other side. Their bodies just hadn't gotten them there yet. Despite all of their pains and struggles, births and deaths along the way, those who made it to the other side had a single vision: to reach the land of continuous sunshine and extraordinary wealth. To start over where anything was possible, where everything was possible. Their dreams were stronger than the obstacles in their way. You've got to be a dreamer. You've got to see the future finished in advance. You've got to see California while you're climbing 14,000-foot peaks. You've got to see the finish line while you're running the race. You've got to hear the cheers when you're in the middle of a monster project. And you've got to be willing to put yourself through the paces of doing the uncomfortable until it becomes comfortable. Because that's how you realize your dreams. Our great country was founded with dreams. They've always been important. Dreams are what caused thousands of people to leave their homes and families and start over in a land where anything was possible. To this day, dreams continue to bring people to our land of opportunity, to a country where you can start with little and end up with a lot, to America. Don't you sometimes wonder why so many immigrants who come to America can build a new life and a fortune while many of the people who were born here are barely surviving? They have a dream, a defined goal, ambition. Aside from the pioneers that crossed.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Perspectives Corner. So, you know, they had me running the board tonight with the computer with no power cord. We just real janky in LA Talk Live tonight. The main board wasn't connected to the internet this evening, so I guess you got exactly what you're supposed to get. Basically, Mr. Jim Rohn was just talking about putting in the work. Having a dream and being willing to put forth the necessary effort to get there. Being willing to be uncomfortable. So many of us are so used to being comfortable. We're so used to being comfortable that the first sign of being uncomfortable, we're willing to let it go. I don't feel like it. You know, when the going gets tough, people get going. And that's exactly where you're losing. You have to be willing to go through that threshold of uncomfortability in order to go to the next level of where you want to see or be. If you're not willing to do that, you will not see the success that you're looking for. You got to be willing to be uncomfortable. This is a blessing. This is an opportunity. This is a privilege for you to build character, to build inner strength, to build an inner champion. We got to come up with an inner dialogue that pushes us every day. What are the things you tell yourself? Do you set the tone for your day when you wake up? Or do you allow television, the radio, billboards, whatever you see first to set the tone for you? Do you put the filters in your world? Like, are you controlling your environment with what you choose to wake up to in the morning? Are you picking up the paper to doom and gloom? Are you opening up your phone to an app that says living a life of success, or facing your fears, or how to do this that's going to take your living to the next level? Are you setting the tone for yourself? Because it's up to us. When I was going through my tough moment, I did the uncomfortable. I had a rough, top of my 30s. Hello, tell my age. I don't mind. Rough. I was like, what is going on? And I could have bowed out like so many of my counterparts. And it just wasn't in me like that. Thank God. You know, I something in me was always there from when I was a kid, because I was just I didn't even know I was a worker bee until I started to deliberately create my life. And I was like, wow, I'm a worker bee. You know, I'm a worker. I got to get it in. This is not the life I want to live. What do I want? Where do you want to go, Ro? What do you need to do? Okay, well, I don't know what the tools are that I go out there and get them. Go out there and fine tune your skills. Go out there and search out mentors. Don't wait for somebody to come to you. It ain't going to happen. Sail to that person. Don't wait for it to come in, baby. Get it now. Go get it. Man. So, you know, just right. Shaka's like, yeah. I mean, you got to go get it. We're so used to being comfortable, baby. It's not gonna happen with you staying in a comfortable space. If you're operating at a 6 and you want to know what an 8 feels like, you gotta face some fears. You gotta go through some stuff. You gotta build character to be able to maintain an 8. You might get those big shoes and not have any idea how to wear them, any idea how to maintain them, any idea how to care for them, because you haven't put in the necessary traits, characteristics, and skills to do that. This is for your betterment. This is for your benefit to do the work. It's not, you know what I mean? And I'll tell you this, you know, even with this tour I'm getting ready to do, this was an idea. I didn't know how it was going to manifest. I just knew I wanted to get out there and share the information. I knew I wanted to be of service in this way. And I started working with this health and wellness company on the strength of something else. And I decided to ask for what I wanted. You know, maybe we can start talking and sharing the information here at this, you know, in this aspect. And they're like, Ro, why don't you do that? Why don't you run it? And that was the first little inkling of the conversation. And then next thing you know, a year later, I'm in a completely different position in this company. In addition to that, I'm getting ready to go on the road and talk around the country, doing what I want to do. I was going to put this together for myself. I didn't know how. I just knew I wanted to do it. I called my mom, who's one of my biggest fans, one of my, you know, best friends. And I'm like, Ma, how do I, you know, this is what I want to do. And she's like, all right, let's figure it out. We got to get a grant. We got to what do we have to do? We had already put our minds on it. We believed that it could happen. And then it came through in another way. But I had to give myself permission to even think it. I had to give myself permission to even believe that I could take, starting at this point of my journey, that I could become this, that I could do this. And it's happening. And I still don't know what my future looks like, but I'm moving in a direction. And if you really want to create some stuff, don't just dream a dream, put a deadline on it. When? August 5th, 2013? How big is it? Don't put it within like an arm's reach, like, okay, I could actually see me pulling that off. Don't even go for that one. Go for the one that seems like really impossible. Go for the one that's just possible, but just impossible, so that it makes you stretch. And then every day, do something towards that goal. Every day, what can you do? Is it an email? Is it a phone call? Is it watching a video? Is it listening to Perspectives Corner? Hey. Is it picking up one of my books? Find and Pursue Your Passion, even with a regular job. Got motivation? How to stay motivated? Is it tapping into a Tony Robbins? Is it tapping into an Oprah Winfrey's journey? Is it going to pick up somebody's biography who is in alignment with one of the things that you'd like to do? What is it? The information is out there. There's no excuse. Is it in you? Is it in you to do the work? Is it in you to possibly fail at doing the work, but still get back up and get back on the horse and go for it again? It's a journey. But within that journey, there's so much more magic. There's so much more unfolding that you can do, and your life can show you if you give yourself the opportunity. Is it in you? Thank you for tuning in tonight. I believe I'll be back here next week. Yay! And I think it's going to be a music therapy. So you know we have a ball when we do music therapy. Come back and join me. Sorry for the technical difficulties this evening. But I believe and I choose to trust that we got the information we were supposed to get. And I just thank you for supporting the show, supporting me, and supporting yourself. Hit me up on Facebook and Twitter and all that good stuff. Come visit me at askro.com. And all the best to you. Thanks for tuning in. You've been listening to Perspectives Corner with Rhona Bennett. Until next time.
Nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me. Soon I will be there. Yeah. To brighten up even your darkest night. You just take your soul if you let them. Hey, don't you let them. You just
reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we're more than just talk. Stay tuned.